This is Patricia Lucia, author of Wildflowers and Present Tenses, a memoir. And this is step 4 in my guide for writing your memoir in 2021. So why is it so important to have a timeline? Again, we are bringing this project into existence from idea into something that's concrete. And honestly, that is one of the biggest challenges for writers. So many people have book ideas or things that they started and they didn't get done. And the thing is that in order to bring something into existence, you have to create a space and time for it to exist. In other words, if you are in the habit of going to the gym, you have certain times that you do it. Think about the things that you do in your life that you do with great regularity. It's probably because there is a time and a space carved out for that activity to exist in your life. So what we're doing here is creating concrete ways for this idea of writing your memoir in 2021 to exist in your world. So today it's about a timeline, and this is also about keeping us accountable for what we need to be doing as we move forward. There are deadlines, it is a real timeline, and it's important that we look at how we are progressing towards our goal. That's not to say this is an opportunity to beat ourselves up if we don't make our monthly goals. However, it gives us an opportunity to look at and assess how we are doing as we're moving along towards our goal. And it also supports us to get there. So I just want to show you an example, and you can make a much fancier timeline than this. Your timeline is something that should be at least up or available for you to look at every day. So this is an example, and you might not be able to see it, but you see how I have the months, and it is literally like a timeline. And because I said, okay, 7 months for writing, I divided 40,000 to 7. I know how many words I should be writing every month. And so I begin, it's a roughly 5,700. So January, 5,700, and then it just goes on from there. So you're really just adding another 5,700 all the way till you get to July. And we're going to talk about what is on the other end. And this has to do with editing and the publishing process. So even if you just fill out the first 7 months, and it doesn't matter what month you're starting, fill out the first 7 months, put in your word count goal for every month. What I like to do is use a highlighter, and as I reach a goal, I highlight it. It's my way of saying, yay, I got that done. Another way to bring it, and I'm going to show you my timeline. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to show you because it can be a little overwhelming. I'm working on 3 writing projects this year, and so I have a timeline that looks like this. I have it here and available to me, and it has all my projects and my word count goals and such for each project. So that's might be a little intense to look at. Now, I love using a desk calendar. This is a way for you to set up your weekly goals. And as you can see, I have my monthly goals on the bottom here. And as I move through the weeks, whatever I've listed that I need to do for that day, as soon as it is done, I highlight it. I also use this to keep track of how many words I'm writing a day. If my goal is 250 words a day, I'm writing all different numbers of words every day. And I record the number of words that I write each day here. And that way, every week, I can add up how many words I've written and assess how I'm doing for my weekly goal. For instance, we've established that if 40,000 words is our goal within 7 months, then we know we've got to write around 1,500 words a week. I break that down into daily totals, and then I keep track of the number of words I'm writing. every day. It's not like I write every day, but every time I write, I keep track of how many words I've written so that I can see my progression towards my weekly and monthly goals. It also helps us stay accountable to ourselves. We're not accountable to anyone else in this process but ourselves. So, one thing that I've learned, and I will say to you, writing a memoir involves three things: it involves courage, commitment, and discipline. Courage, because we're going to be writing about some very personal things, some hard things to write about, and it takes courage to do that. It also takes courage to care about ourselves and love ourselves enough to be able to make the commitment to do this in the first place. So you're going to find writing a memoir involves courage on many different levels, and that's part of the growth process in writing a memoir. It takes commitment. So right from the beginning, we began with commitment, and we revisit that commitment as we move along, because it is so easy to say, I can't do this, or I'm not up for this, or whatever excuse we make to not do it. Usually that has to do with our feelings of unworthiness. When you're feeling like quitting, remember, you're quitting on yourself. So this whole commitment and the courage, everything is all about coming back to you and making a commitment to you. Discipline, because you can have all of the greatest ideas in the world and you can be as creative as you can be. But if you don't have the discipline to pull it off, it'll never happen. So the timeline, the goal, the commitment, the coming up with ways to keep yourself accountable, that is all discipline. Discipline is not antithetical to creativity. Discipline, I've learned, and this was a tough lesson for me. This was not an easy lesson for me. I was resistant to discipline. And what I've learned is that discipline is part of the joy of being creative. It creates more space for more creativity. Discipline supports creativity. That has been an important lesson for me that I am sharing with you. So this has been step 4, creating a timeline. Create it, put it up, or keep it close to your desk where you work every day. I suggest desk calendars because there you are, and it is sitting, as mine does, right in front of me. So I always know where I am at in the process. So I hope this is helpful. We're going to jump into writing and ways to enhance our writing in the following steps. So I'm going to be focusing on writing techniques that enhance creative writing, how to bring characters to life, how to write great dialogue, how to bring the reader in to your story. That's really the fun stuff. That's what we're going to be talking about in the next several steps.